Welcome back to CS Sri Lanka webinar series. So this is the second session. From this we are going to cover budgeting, preparation and control accounts. So why do we require budget? Why are we preparing control accounts, controls, right? So the requirement of those two will be discussed during this chapter, but basically we are giving more weightage for what? Budgeting, right? Control means how do we use budget as a control tool, will be discussed during this session. So we might not be able to cover entire budgeting chapter within one session. For this chapter we will have more than one session, we will see. That depends on the time taken for each and every aspect when we go through this chapter. We'll decide that later on, don't worry about it. What is budgeting? Right? What is budgeting? Budgeting කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? Do we really required to prepare budgets for an organization? Without budget, can we run the business? If you don't prepare budget, can someone come and penalize you? Maybe legal authorities? If you don't prepare budget, will it be a problem or concern for going concern? All these things we need to understand. First thing you need to understand is what? Budget means it's a forecast. Budget means you forecast future. අනාගතය forecast කිරීමක්. Budget නම් වේ. How long you can forecast? Normally, maximum when you run your day-to-day business, when you run a business, you prepare budget for next 12 months maximum. So beyond 12 months, it is very difficult for you to prepare budget with reasonable assumptions. You heard a word, assumptions. So budget means it's a forecast. Forecast anyway is what? Estimate. Estimate based on what assumptions? Budget means it's a forecast. Budget. It's a forecast. It's a forecast. Forecast means it's based on assumptions. Assumption should be, this should be reasonable. Reasonable. Right? So with reasonable background you can prepare forecast, right? Maybe 12 months max. If you go more than 12 months, there's a problem with reasonableness. Can you forecast your demand 2024 or 2025? We don't know what will happen. But with reasonable assumptions, you can forecast what will happen within a 6 month or 12 months time period. Therefore, you prepare normally budget, forecast budget for next 12 months or less than that. 1 month, 2 months, 1 quarter or 2-3 quarters, maximum till 12 months. You can forecast your future and prepare budgets. You forecast what? When you prepare budgets? You forecast your sales, You forecast your material requirement, you forecast your production requirement, you forecast how much I have to incur as overhead. So once you find all these things, you can figure out how much I am going to achieve as what? Profit in next 12 months period. If you can figure out profit, you can anyway figure out what? Balance sheet also. How it can be, how it should be, but my balance sheet. And how much of cash I am going to generate. All these things you can forecast for a period of time, which is called what? Budgeting. So it is not easy, right, to come to those forecasts if you don't have proper, what do you call, right, if you don't have proper assumptions. මේක හරියට නැත්තම් වැඩේ අමාරුයි. Very important. Right? මේක තමයි හරියටම තියෙන්න ඕනේ. මේක හරියට තිබුණොත් වැඩේ ලේසි. මොකද්ද? Assumptions ටික. Fine. මේ full budgeting story එක අපි conceptualize කරලා බලමු. Before we go into slides. Before we go into slides. It's a forecast. It's a forecast. මොනවද forecast කරන්නේ? You can forecast first. Sales demand. You can forecast your sales demand. How much you are expecting to sell. How much you want to sell during next 12 months. Basically budgets for next 12 months. Therefore I take it as 1 year, but it can be less than that also, but cannot be more than that. Number 1, this is called, right, not called, this is your first forecast. Sales demand you have to forecast first. Once you establish your demand, which means once you establish your sales requirement, I need to sell this much of units. Then to reach there, you need to produce. God will not give goods and services to your hand to sell it. Basically physical goods. Therefore, you have to figure out production. How much you are going to produce? Production. කොච්චරක් වගේ විකුණන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවද? ප්‍රොඩියුස් කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවද? production budget. right, sales demand හැදුවා, production එක හැදුවා. production එකට නිකම්ම කරන්න බෑනේ. මේ flow එක හොඳට තේරුම් ගන්න flow එක. මෙහෙමයි budgeting flow එක. sale එකට establish කරා, එතෙන්ට යන්න මෙච්චර produce කරන්න ඕනේ, නිකම් produce කරන්න බෑනේ. material requirement, material usage. You require material usage. Material usage. මෙච්චරක් material ඕනි මට to produce this much of unit. Then I can sell this much of unit. හරිනේ flow එක. මෙච්චරක් sale කරන්න ඕනි මට. එහෙම කරන්න මෙච්චරක් හදන්න ඕනි. මෙච්චරක් හදන්න මෙච්චරක් material ඕනි මට. material තිබුණා කියලා බෑ වැඩේ කරන්න. මිනිස්සුත් ඕනි, labor budget. Labor usage. How many people should I deploy? කී දෙනෙක් මම යොදවන්න ඕනද වැඩේ කරන්න? ඒක තමයි labor usage. නිකම් material තිබුණාට production එක කරන්න බෑ. හොඳට තේරුම් ගන්න. Then labor required. Labor තිබුණොත් විතරකුත් බෑ. මිනිසුයි raw material තිබුණොත් production එක එළියට එන්නේ නැහැ. You have to incur some overhead. Utility, sometimes administrative and selling cost. අපි ඒ ඔක්කොම දාමු. Fixed variable production overhead plus fixed production overhead. මේවත් ඕනේ වෙනවා. Now together with this cost and labor material you can produce. මෙහෙම තිබුණොත් බෑ. You required capital asset, capex, which means capital asset. Capital asset. Capex requirement. කොච්චරක් ඔයාලට capex ඕනිද? Right? මේකෙන් ඔයාලට depreciation එකවත් figure out කරගන්න පුළුවන්. So this is called, right? අපි මේකට කියනවා, right? මේකට කියනවා functional budget කියලා. Functional budget. එක එක function එකේ හදන budget. මේක functional. Sales demand එකට sales budget. Then production budget, material usage budget, labor usage budget, variable production overhead and fixed production overhead budget, capex budget including which is called capital expenditure. Then මේ ටික දන්නව නම් you can prepare, right? You can prepare budgeted P&L. You can prepare budget P&L because sales there, cost of sales there, production material, all these things, and expenses overhead is there. Then depreciation you can figure out from this, and you prepare what? Budget P&L. Right? Fund requirement treasury budget එමත් හදන ඒවත් තියෙනවා මේකේ. ඔක්කොම තව මදිව තියෙනවා, right? මේ තමයි basics ටික. Budget P&L. ඉතින් ඒ ටික තියෙනවා නම් you can prepare what? Budgeted balance sheet and budget cash flow. Cash flow. So these things you can prepare. අපි මේකට කියනවා මේකට අපි කියන මොකද්ද? Master budget. Master budget. So functional budget you will convert into what? Master budget. එහෙනම් master budgets වල එකතුව තමයි functional budget එක එකතුව තමයි අපි කියන්නේ master budget. Right? So basically budgeted financial statement. Financial statement you prepare. අපි normally කියන මේකට master budget booklet. ඉතින් මේ topic එක අපි ඉගෙන ගන්නේ මොනවද? How do we prepare functional budgets and how do we prepare master budgets? And how do we use this budget as what? Control tool. People are using this as control tool and different way. You can use this. But what we are going to discuss, budget in all, budget as a tool for different purposes. Right? Before all of these we need to understand මොකද්ද මේ budget කියලා කියන්නේ. මෙන්න functional budget එක හැදුවා, forecast කරා, sale එක ඔක්කොම ටික forecast කරා, budget and forecasted financial statement හැදුවා. මොකටද අපි මේ හදන්නේ? It has different usage and for different purposes you prepare budgets. Read this slide, then you will understand. Budget is quantifiable action plan. It's a quantifiable action plan for the specific time period. Quantifiable action plan for specific time period. Specific time period 12 months. Quantifiable actions. Menna quantifiable actions tika. Specific period means normal 12 months, but it can be less than that, but it can't be more than that. It is, so if you prepare more than that, I told you, assumptions may not be appropriate, right? Reason for preparing budget. A budget hadanne minisu. Compel planning to plan future. If you don't have target profit here, right? If you don't have this figure, you don't know what to achieve, where to go. There's no plan. Onnoy karamu yana vidihata monari wenna nathai. That's how your sillara kade is doing. Mudalali ළඟ ඉන්න කඩේ මුදලාලි දුවන්නේ එහෙම තමයි business එක. But here the purpose is not that. මෙතන අපි ඒක නේ purpose එක. අපිට ඕනි budget එක planning tool එකක් විදිහට දුවන්න. We're going to use this as planning tool. Right? Future එක plan කරන tool එකක් විදිහට use කරන්න. That is what the purpose. Right? Fine. One reason. Second reason, communicate ideas and plans. Second reason, communicate ideas and plans. Then here make a use karana reason for budget preparing budget. You can communicate your ideas and plan. Oyage sale demand, let's say you want 100 million sale next year 2022. This year you are in 2021 80 million. තව මිලියන 20කින් වැඩි කරන්න නම් what I should do, ideas, what plan I should execute to get here, what I should do is what? Planning. Ideas. And you share your thoughts. एक करना टूल एक विधिයට planning करना टूल एक विधिයට idea communication करना टूल एक विधिයට वागे individual plans එළියට දාන टूल එකක් විදිහට use කරන මොකද්ද? budget. දැන් budget එක නෑගිලි තන මේක නෑ. මොනවද කරන්නේ? මොනවද ideas මේ business ඉස්සරහට ගේන්න? ඒකවත් එළියට එන්නේ නෑනේ. යන විදිහට යන්න. යන විදිහ හොඳයි. ලොකු ලොකු දේවල් කරන්න ඕනේ නෑ. No. When you have this figure in your mind, 100 million, 100 million, 100 million, මොනවද මං කරන්න ඕනේ ideas? Ideas ටික එනවා එළියට. You have educational institute, let's say. The target profit is 10 million. මොනවද කරන්න ඕනේ? A level class කරනවද? A level class කරන්න බෑ අමාරුයි competition එක වැඩි. chartered කරනවද online. දැන් ඕන කෙනෙකුට login වෙන්න පුළුවන්. මුළු රටේම ඉන්න කට්ටියගෙන් අපිට හිටියේ ඉස්සර 20% විතර. දැන් online හරියට lecture එකක් දුන්නොත් ඕන කෙනෙක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. අනුරාධපුරේ ඉන්න නංගිලා මල්ලටත් බලන්න පුළුවන්. market is there. idea එක. දැන්ම ගත්තා. budget එක plan කරලා තිබ්බොත් හරියට ideas එනවා. ඒක achieve කරන්න කොහොමද කියලා. idea generation tool. Coordinate activities. Coordinate activities. That is another reason. Coordinate activities means selling department can't achieve this if production department didn't support. Support කරේ නැත්තම් මෙතෙන් යන්න බෑ. If purchasing department purchase කරේ නැත්තම් මේක production department එක product produce කරන්න බෑ. HR department එක මිනිස්සු ටික හරියට දුන්නේ නැත්නම්, if labor department fails to give them right employees, you can't go here. Variable production and overhead, if administration department or other people didn't manage overhead properly, again you can't achieve this sale. And to get here, if you don't have enough asset, again you can't go. So which means achieving this 100 million or this profit figure is a collaborative activity among these people. One person can't do this alone. All departments should work together to reach here. Therefore, budgeting tool can be used as coordinating activity, to coordinate activity. So when you prepare budgets, the entire company, all functions work together to go there. Therefore, it's what? Coordinate activities. To coordinate activities, you prepare budget. Reason. Provide a framework for responsibility accounting. Right? So when you prepare budget, you can allocate responsibilities. Production department, your main responsibility is to produce 5 million units. If you don't produce, we can't achieve this 100 million sale. So my performance will be evaluated based on this 5 million. So by doing OT, by working weekends, somehow we are trying to achieve what? 5 million units. For that I am accountable. To give right employees, HR department, they are accountable. Material purchasing department, they are accountable to purchase quality raw material at the right time. Material usage. Right? So this can be used as a tool to make people accountable. Right? Next reason. Establish a system of control. System of control. So which means, now let's say you prepare budget for 2022 financial year, which means you are planning to achieve this much of profit somewhere 31st March 2022. You want 100 million sales. End of each quarter, let's say first quarter, which means 30th June 2022. So you wanted to achieve, let's say 30 million, but actual 20 million. Now 10 million gap. 10 million gap. Now you know, alright, this is the shortage, but to go there, then I have to work hard in second, third and fourth quarters. Control tool. Actual versus budgeting figure you identify and calculate the gap and take necessary actions to reduce future deviations. Control means that. Control means that. So as a control tool, you use what? Budgeting, which means actual versus forecast, budget figure, estimate. So always you monitor actual versus forecast, which is what? Budgeting, budgetary control. Provide a mean of performance evaluation. KPI you can set based on what? Budget. If you don't achieve 100 million sales, no bonus. Simple as that. If you don't hit, this is called top line sale. මේක ගහන්න බැරි වුණා කියමු. But reducing overhead, by reducing labor cost, by reducing depreciation, somehow I achieved bottom line profit. Top line එක කියන sale එක කියලා, bottom line කියන profit. shareholder එක කියන right අපිට මේක ගහන්න බැරුණා. හැබැයි අපිට ඕනේ 20 million profit එකක්. අන්න අපි 20 million profit එක ගහලා දුන්නා. මේක 90 million but you end up with 20 million profit. පුළුවන් මේ ටික අඩු කරගත්තොත් නේ. To achieve profit there are two ways, either to increase sales or to reduce overhead. Right? To increase sales or to reduce overhead. So somehow I achieved what? Bottom line but not the top line. So if you, that depends, right? Sometimes if you don't achieve top line, you will not eligible for bonus, which means somehow I am trying to tell you what? You can use this as what? KPI to monitor performance. Budget එකේ මොකුත් නැත්තම් මොකද වෙන්නේ? ඔය අන්නම් වාලේ යනවා, salary increment එක පොඩි ගාණක් හම්බ වෙනවා, bonus නෑ. ඇයි? මොකටද bonus දෙන්නේ? මොනවා කරාටද? මෙන්න මේක කරාට 100 million achieve කරා. Then bonus. Otherwise no bonus. Right? Done. You can use this as what? Performance evaluation tool. And motivate employees to improve performance. You can use this as tool to motivate employees. Look here. So if you achieve this budget, we have paying 5%, 5 times salary bonus. 5 times bonus. And motivate උනානේ. මට 5 times. මම මේක තව ඊට වඩා ගෙවුවොත් මට ඊට වඩා හම්බෙ 10 times, 8 times. අන්න මේවා motivate වෙනවා. Right? You can use this as what? A tool to motivate your employees. So because of these reasons, it is, now you can understand, essential to prepare budgets. Next, different things to different people. So budget means it's a different thing to different people. Budget tag කියලා කියන්නේ වෙනස් විදිහේ දේවල් එක එක මිනිසුන්. ඇයි අපි එහෙම කියන්නේ? It's a forecast to some set of people in the organization or for some organizations. Make a forecasting tool එකක්. අනාගතේ achieve කරන්න දේ ගැන forecast එකක්. For some people, some organization, budget means it's a mean of allocating resource. It's a resource allocation tool. You will use this as what? Resource allocation tool. You can use this to allocate resources. Mean of allocating resources. අපි resource allocate කරන්න use කරන tool එකක් විදිහට මේක භාවිත කරන්න පුළුවන්. For some people, budget means a yardstick, which means to compare actual results versus action, forecast and take actions. Yardstick. Controlling tool. එකක් විතර මේක යූස් කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කියන්නේ මෙච්චරක් ඕනේ වුණා achieve කරේ මෙච්චරයි difference එක මෙච්චරයි මෙන්න මේ actions ටික මම ගන්න ඕනේ. I need to take actions on this difference. නැත්නම් නිකම්ම මේ 30 million ඕන වුණා achieve උනේ 20 million ඔහේ මු ඉතින් කමන්න නැති වෙච්ච දේ වුණානේ ගියානේ. එහෙම බෑ. At least to reduce or come out from this big gap, what I should do in future quarters. For those, I need to take actions. So this can be used as what? A tool to monitor deviations and to take actions to action for not repeating the same thing, mistake, risk. For some people, this is target. Budget means a target. 100 million, it's my target. So these are the different things to different people. Budget එක කියන්නේ. සමහර කට්ටිය මේක forecast එකක්. සමහර කට්ටිය මේක resource allocation tool එකක්. For some of them මේක actual versus forecast එක predict කරලා actions ගන්න tool එකක්. For some, this is a target set. Target එක set කරපු target එකක්. It's a different thing for different people. Right? Done. So budget committee එකක් ගැන කතා කරනවා. These are little things but important. Budget committee. What do you mean by budget committee? Budget committee means when you prepare budgets, I told you this is functional budget. This is master budget. To govern this budgetary process in an organization, right, there should be a committee or set of people. Otherwise budget එක හදන්න ගිහම ඔක්කොම වැඩ පැත්තකට දාලා තමන්ගේ budget හදන්න කට්ටිය නැහැ. Now if you look at audit committee, අහලා තියෙන්නේ? That's a committee to oversee or govern financial reporting process. ඒ වගේම තමයි budget කියන්නේ, that's a committee set of people who oversee or govern what? Govern entire budgetary control process. Budgetary control process එක govern කරන්නේ මෙයාලා. Resource allocation and allocating responsibilities, giving guidelines for budgets and set targets, timeline. මෙදාට කලින් හදලා ඉවර කරන්න ඕනේ. ඒ වගේ සම්පූර්ණ මේ budgetary process එක govern කරන කට්ටිය අපි කියනවා කවුද govern කරන්නේ budget committee එකකින්. Let me erase this and explain you. It's like this. මම practical වෙන දෙයක් ගැන කියන්නේ. Now let's say your financial year start with 1st April 2021 and end up with 31st March 2022. For this particular financial year, you need to prepare budget. You need to prepare budget. So when are you going to start? Somewhere here. First January 2021. මෙන්න මේ 3 months period එක. You will use for what? To prepare budget. Maybe more than that. මෙහෙ කලින් පටන් ගන්නත් පුළුවන් 2021 December වල. එහෙම පටන් ගමුකෝ අපි. එතකොට හිතයි හැමදාම 31st December. Sorry. 1st December 2020 වල පටන් ගත්තා. 4 months. So during this 4 months period, you prepare budget, the entire budgetary process, control process, oversee by budget committee, right? Budget committee. What they do, right? What they do? අපි කතා කරමු. මම ඊට කලින් පොඩ්ඩක් explain කරලා ඉන්න. What they do, they allocate give instruction, allocate resources, right, and give formats and review and decide timelines. So basically මේ වගේ high level activity එකක් කරනවා. මේ ඔක්කොම ටික කරන්නේ කවුද? Budget committee. They are the set of people oversee entire budgetary control process. දැන් බලන්න කියවලා. The budget committee is coordinating body. ඒක තමයි coordinating body. In the preparation and administration of budget. Preparation එක සහ administration, everything they control, oversee, coordinate. ඒකට අපි කියනවා budget committee එකක් කියලා. The budget committee is usually headed up, මේකේ ලොක්කා කවුද? Headed up by managing director as chairman. සාමාන්‍ය organisation ලොක්කා තමයි මේකේ managing director වෙන්නේ. Managing director as chairman of the budget committee. මේකේ committee එකේ structure එකක් තියෙනවානේ. structure එකේ උඩම ඉන්නේ managing director. And is assessed by budget officer. It's like this. Budget committee structure එක. budget committee කියන එක වාට තේරෙනවනේ. පොඩි දේවල් but important, right? Budget committee. උඩින්ම ඉන්නවා managing director, MD as chairman. ඊට පස්සේ ඉන්න budget officer. මෙහෙම කට්ටිය නැති වෙන්න පුළුවන් ඔයා කොහේ හරි වැඩ කරනවා නම්. but සාමාන්‍ය guideline is this. මෙහෙම ඉන්නවලු. ඉන්න පුළුවන් right structure එක. නැත්නම් වෙන නමකින් කවුරු ඉන්නත් පුළුවන්. there is no hard and fast rule to have same designation called budget officer. එහෙමයක් නැහැ. who is usually an accountant. ඒකනේ. මෙයා සාමාන්‍ය normally කවුද? accountant කෙනෙක්. management accountant. right, normally not financial accountant, management accountant. අපි එහෙම දාගමු. management accountant. management accountant. Right? Every part of the organization should be represent on the committee. So this should come then budget officer ගාවට පස්සේ ඉන්න each and every function එකකින්. Right? Finance, ops, operation, supply chain, procurement, raw material sourcing, admin, IT, right, and HR. So all these functions should represent what? Budget committee. And there should be the representatives from sales, production, marketing, so on. So marketing also one function, very important function I have missed, marketing. So basically they are responsible for sales, marketing. This is responsible for people, headcount. Admin may be overhead budget, supply chain procurement, right? Operation may be production. They are responsible for each and every functional budget. Functions of budget committee include following. Functions of budget committee. මේ budget committee එකේ මොනවද කරන්නේ? Functions. නිකන් ඔහෙ ඉන්නවද? Can be tested. Functions of budget committee. Budget committee එකේ function එකක් නොවන්නේ or what are the functions of budget committee out of this list? එහෙම අහන්න පුළුවන්. Coordinating and allocating responsibilities. You coordinate with other departments or other people and allocate resources. Right? Allocate responsibilities and resources. You allocate responsibilities, right? ඔයාලා තමයි marketing budget එක හදන්න ඕනේ, මේ marketing department එකේ මේ කට්ටිය, HR department එකේ ඔය කට්ටිය HR budget එක හදන්න, production කොහොමද plan එක production department එකට හදන්න. So allocate responsibilities. Issue budget manual. Budget manual කියලා එකක් තියෙනවා. Budget guideline, instruction. කොහොමද budget එක පටන් ගන්න ඕනේ? Sales budget එක කොහොමද හදන steps ටික? Production budget එක හදන steps. What are the steps of each and every functional budget? Instruction. They are in where? Budget manual එකේ. Time tabling, which means what are the timelines that you are giving for each and every functional budget? Sale budget එක මෙදාට එන්න ඕනේ, production budget එක මෙදාට එන්න ඕනේ, HR budget එක මෙදාට එන්න ඕනේ. Likewise you prepare and finally you give information to budget officer. Budget officer prepare what? Master budget. එහෙනම් budget committee දැන් මෙයාලා තමයි responsible for functional budget. Right? මෙයා සාමාන්‍ය master budget එකට. Budget officer master budget හදන්නේ. Right? Responsibilities allocate කරොත්. Provision of information to assist preparation of budget. මේ budget එක දැන් නිකන් උඩ බලන් හිටියට බෑනේ. නිකන් එන්නේ නැහැ. මේවා හදන්න informations දෙනවා. One function of budget committee. Communication of final budget to appropriate managers. You communicate marketing manager marketing budget, procurement budget to sourcing manager, HR budget to HR manager, head. You communicate to each and every line manager for their review. That is done by whom? Budget committee. Monitoring the budgeting process by comparing actual budget and the results. මේක අතෑරලා දාන්නේ බජට් එක හැදුවට පස්සේ මාස්ටර් බජට්ස් ටික හැදුවට පස්සේ process එක අතාරින්නේ නැහැ. The budget committee will compare budget figures versus actual figures. Maybe month end, quarterly, you will identify deviations and let them. Right, you are in good position, but you know sales තියෙන orders ටික එනවා ගන්නට, right, production ඔයා ඉන්නේ පල්ලෙන් තව ටිකක් ඔයාට වැඩ කරන්න ඕනේ. HR අපිට මිනිස්සු නැහැ මේ ටික වැඩේ කරන්න. Likewise, you monitor deviation from actual to forecasted figure. That's also one function of what? Budget committee. Responsibility for budgets. කවුද මේ budgets වලට responsible? Right? Sales manager is responsible for sales budget. Sales manager, marketing manager maybe responsible for sales budget. කවුද? Sales manager. Sales manager. And purchasing manager for manager, all right, supply. They are the people who purchase, procurement. So purchasing manager is responsible for material purchasing budget. Purchasing manager, procurement manager. Procurement manager. अपने यार क्या sourcing manager or purchasing manager, whoever, right? Manager HR manager, his head count and the salary budget, he is responsible. That's the question. Read it. Identify which of the following the budget committee is not responsible for. දැන් ඔයාලට තේරෙන්නේ තින්නේ මෙච්චර මේ බජට් එකක් ගැන කිව්වා ගණන් හදන්නෙත් නෑ මොකුත් නෑ කියවනවා විතරයි. මොකද්ද මේක වැඩි? බලන්න මේ question එක කියවලා. මේක තමයි තියෙන වැඩේ. Because the examiner can test these kind of questions. If you don't know the functions of budget committee and the role of budget committee and the structure of budget committee, how do you answer this question? Identify which of the following the budget committee is not responsible for. Preparing functional budgets, timetabling the budget and budgeting and operation, allocating responsibilities for budget preparation, monitoring the budgeting process. Preparation functional budget, timetabling, allocating responsibilities, monitoring and budgetary process. Definitely timetabling, timeline of the budget committee decide karna. Allocating responsibilities are right. Oh, make current, yeah. That's also they are doing. Monitoring the budgetary process, hariyata on time වැඩේ වෙනවද monitor කරනවා. Yes, that also you are doing. Preparing functional budget. Preparing functional budget. මෙන්න functional budget එක. මේක හදන්නේ මේ functions වලින්. මෙන්න හදන කට්ටිය sales manager, procurement manager, but they are not in budget committee. Budget committee consists of all these functions. Representatives are there from each and every function, but they don't prepare functional budget. They don't prepare functional budgets. The representative from marketing department who is responsible for sales budget will give guideline, coordinate with whom? Sales manager to get this done. So basically they are the people who prepare budget, functional budget, but they are not in budget committee. එහෙනම් මේ බජට් එක හදන එක බජට් කමිටි එකේ රෙස්පොන්සිබිලිටි එකක් නෙවෙයි. හදන එක අදාළ ෆන්ක්ෂන් එක රෙස්පොන්සිබිලිටි එක. හැබැයි එයාව ගයිඩ් කරන එක, right, proper guidance budget committee should have been given to these people. So then they will prepare it. The preparation is not a responsibility of budget committee. දැන් මෙහෙමනේ. ඔඩිට් කමිටි එකේ රෙස්පොන්සිබිලිටි එක ෆයිනෑන්ෂියල් ස්ටේට්මන්ට් හදන එක නෙමෙයි. වෙලාවට ඇප්ලිකබල් ෆයිනෑන්ෂියල් රිපෝටින් ෆ්‍රේම්වර්ක් එකට අනුව ෆිනෑන්ෂියල් ස්ටේට්මන්ට් හදලා තියෙනවද? You will monitor it. That's your responsibility. You are responsible for that. Have you prepared financial statement according to applicable financial reporting framework according to the given timeline? කවුද ඒක බලන්නේ? ඔඩිට් කමිටි එක. අනේ ඔඩිට් කමිටි කියලා මේ ඔක්කොම නවත්තලා ෆයිනෑන්ෂියල් ස්ටේට්මන්ට් වල ට්‍රයල් බැලන්ස් P&L බැලන්ස් ෂීට් නෑ. ගයිඩ්ලයින් දෙන්න. ඒ වගේ තමයි. බජට් එක හදන්නේ බජට් කමිටි එක. Don't misunderstand. They don't prepare. Budget committee give instruction, allocate responsibilities, monitor it and give timelines. So then these people should prepare functional budget. So the correct answer is what? A, they don't prepare functional budgets. Identify which of the following the budget committee is not responsible for. Budget committee is not responsible for what? Preparing functional budget. To prepare functional budgets, they are not responsible. What is next? Budget manual. Budget manual කියලා එකකුත් තියෙනවා. What is that? The budget manual is a allocation of instructions. Budget manual is an allocation of instructions. Allocation of instructions governing the responsibilities of person and the procedures, form and records relating to preparation and use of budgetary data. Budget manual is a collection of instruction. කොහොමද බජට් එක හදන්නේ කියන instruction, collection of instruction governing the responsibilities of person and procedures. Governing the responsibilities of person and procedures. Instruction තියෙනවා, කවුද හදන්න ඕනේ කියලා responsibilities තියෙනවා, forms and records, all formats, responsibility allocation, timelines, everything there in manual. Content මොනවද තියෙන්නේ? An explanation of the objectives of the budgetary control process. What are you going to achieve through budget? Objective. Organization structure. මෙන්න organization structure එක. Right? CEO ඉන්නවා, finance directors ලා ඉන්නවා, finance director යටතේ තියෙනවා මෙන්න මේව management accounting function එක, financial accounting function එක, operation team එක යටතේ මෙහෙම organization structure is there in the budgetary control manual. Budget manual එකේ. An outline of principal budgets and the responsibility relationships between them. Outline of principal budget. Right? Principal budget එක outline එක තියෙන relationship between them, which means relationship between functional budget. Administrative details of budget preparation. Administrative details such as timelines, sequence of which budget to be prepared. කොහොමද මොකද්ද sequence එක? කොහොමද budget එක හදන්න ඕන පිළිවෙල? ඉස්සලම sales budget, production budget, like that. Then procedural matters. Right? Procedural matters. Procedural matters means what? Form and the instruction for their completions. මොනවද කොහොමද forms තියෙන්නේ and කොහොමද fill කරන්න instruction and reports that you are expecting at the end of budget, and chart of accounts මොනවද තියෙන්නේ company එකේ ඒ වගේ procedure matters you will include. So this is the content of what? Content of budget. Steps in preparation of budget, very very important. මොනවද steps budget එකක් හදන එකේ? So basically if you look at this slide, first you prepare what? Functional budget. Medin functional budget. Each and every functions they will prepare their own budget, which is called functional budget. So after you prepare functional budget, you prepare what? Master budget. So master budget means combination of functional budget. Basically there you can see budgeted financial statements. Identify principal budget factor. නිකන් budget හදනකොට ඔයාට කැමති විදිහට හදන්න බෑ. There are principles in budgetary control. Budget එකේ principal fact එකක් තියෙනවා. මොකද්ද මගේ principal fact එක? It is a limiting factor basically. The unlimited resources නම් හැම fact එකක්ම unlimited නම් ඔහේ අපිට දුවන්න පුළුවන්. Labor unlimited, demand එක unlimited, supply unlimited, utility, all other resources unlimited, nothing will be a problem. So they no need budget. Since resources are limited in this world, that's why it's required more controls when you work with these resources. If demand is unlimited, you can produce unlimited by using unlimited labor and earn the margins. You can't do that. Always factors are limited. Some factors, I don't know what it is. Whatever the factor can be limited. When you work with limited factors, always you have to consider it as principal budgeting factor. Limiting factor එක තමයි අපි කියන්නේ නම් principal budgeting factor. From organization to organization, based on the nature of the business, type of the business, that factor, principal factor can be different. The principal budgetary factor is the factor that limit the capacity of the entity, right? Entity එකේ capacity එක limit කරන factor එකට අපි කියනවා principal budget factor කියලා. Or activities being budgeted, it's sometimes referred to as limiting factor. Yes, limiting factor basically. For some organization can be sales demand. If you have limited sales demand, you have to, your principal budgeting factor, you have to start with sales. Limited now. Second, production process and the capacity. Production process and the capacity. Sometimes sale demand is there, but your capacity is limited. You don't have a proper or fully automated, sophisticated business process. So that is the limiting factor. With capacity, even though you have much more demand, this is the production that I can produce. අපි මෙහෙම හිතමු example එක. Right? Principal budgeting factor. Principal budgeting factor. Principal budgeting factor. It can be sales demand. Let's say you have a capacity to produce 1 million units. 1 million units is a capacity. But sales demand maximum you have, demand 500,000. Let's say 800,000. 800,000. So limiting factor is this. You can't budget for this capacity. The මේ වෙලාවේ principal budgeting factor is what? Sales demand. මෙන්න principal factor එක. So you have to focus on this figure. Even though you can produce 1 million, no point. You can maximum sell how much? 800,000. So principal budgeting factor, limiting factor is this. Right? Sometimes it can be capacity. Capacity. You have capacity of 800,000, whereas, sorry, I'll erase this, whereas your demand capacity, whereas you demand 100,000, 1 million. So here no point of planning your budget based on this figure. Why? You have maximum capacity 800,000. මෙන්න මේවා තමයි limiting factors. දැන් මේ අවස්ථා දෙකේ principle එක two different things. මේ වෙලාවේ sales demand එකයි. වාට 1 million capacity එක තිබුණාට වැඩක් නැහැ. Even though you have 1 million capacity, maximum you can produce, demand is how much? 800,000. This is the principle then. Even though you have 1 million demand, can't help, maximum you can produce with existing manufacturing process and the equipments, maximum you can produce how much? 800,000. So principle is this then. Sometimes machine capacity. Capacity, right? Capacity, let's say 800,000. Whereas your demand 1 million. වැඩක් නැහැ නේ. machine වලින් හදන්න පුළුවන් 800,000 maximum. So මේක තමයි principle එක කියන budget එක. මේක තමයි budget එකේ target එක 800,000. Distribution and selling resources. Distribution and selling resources. Right? You have one vehicle distribute. Let's say you have two vehicles. අපි හිතමු two vehicles කියලා. Whereas you required two vehicles you have, but you required, if you plan, let's say 800 capacity, it's required 4 vehicles. Let's say your machine capacity is 800,000, whereas your demand is 1 million. So then you have to plan for what? Machine capacity. හැබැයි machine capacity එක 800 තිබුණාට 800 deliver කරන්න වාහන 4ක් ඕනි. Whereas you have 2 vehicles. වැඩක් නැහැ එහෙනම්. Capacity එක drop වෙනවා කීයද 400,000 වලට. මෙන්න. Machine capacity, even though you have 800,000, no point, you have 2 vehicles in your hand, therefore maximum you can produce how much? 400,000. So this is the limiting factor, the number of vehicles, distribution. Extreme example එකේ product for you to තේරුම් ගන්න. Key raw materials. Sometimes raw material can be limited. Raw material. To produce 1 million, you required, let's say, 2 million kilograms. Let's say 500 kilograms. 500 kilograms. Whereas you have limited 250, half of it. You have 200 kg, limited factor. What අපි හිතමු capacity ඔක්කොම තියෙන 1 million හදන්න කියලා, fine. But your raw material 500,000. So for you to manufacture 1 million, you required 500 kg. 500,000 kg. 1 million, to produce 1 million, you require 500,000 kg, which means you required 0.5 2 kg, sorry, 0.5 kg for per unit. 1 kilograms 0.5 ඕනි. Whereas you have 250. වැඩක් නැහැ නේ. 250 use කළාට maximum හදන්න පුළුවන් කීයද එනවා? 500,000 units. So මෙතෙන්ද plan කළා වැඩක් නැහැ නා budget එක. මේකයි plan කරන්න ඕනේ. So basically, principal budget factor means that's the factor you consider when you prepare budget, when you set up your target sales. මෙන්න මේ limiting factor එක අඳුර ගන්න ඕන. අපි ඒකට කියනවා principal budgeting factor කියලා. For example, if sales are principal budgeting factor, then production manager can only prepare their budgets after sale budget is completed. Order of budget preparation. So what is the order when you prepare a budget? So what we have discussed so far, steps, we are in the process of talking about preparation of budget, steps in preparation of budget. First you prepare functional budget and master budget. Before you prepare anything, you need to identify what? Principal budgeting factor. So what is the principal budgeting factor? It can be sales demand, production capacity, machine capacity, distribution and selling resources that you have, and key raw materials that you have. Right? Finally, there is an order when you prepare budget. So what is the order? You prepare first sales budget. Abhi main kata kare sales budget. You first prepare. Based on sales, you can figure out what? Production requirement. To go to that sales limit, what is my production requirement? And resource for production. කොච්චරක් resources ඕනිද? Material usage budget, and machine usage budget, and labor budget. So once you prepare resource for productions, then material inventory budget එක හදන්න දෙන්න. Then overhead budget, right? දැන් ඔයාලා ගාව තියෙනවා sales budget එක, production budget එක, usage budget එක, material inventory budget එක, then overhead budget you have, right, which means maintenance, store and administration and selling, and research and development expenditure. So this is overhead. Prepare overhead budget. Thereafter, once you prepare sales budget, production budget, material budget, overhead budget, you can prepare budget P&L, budget P&L, then budget financial statements, including balance sheet, cash flow, and working capital, and capital expenditure budget. All these things will be there in budget financial position, which means balance sheet. As a part of balance sheet, working capital budget and capital expenditure budget and the cash budget you can prepare. මේක තමයි steps ටික. හතක් තියෙනනේ order එක. Sales, production, resource, material inventory budget, then overhead, and finally profit and loss account and the balance sheet. So we'll start to prepare small functional budget, right? Read this question, then easily you can understand how do we prepare functional budget, right? Read this. It has 4 or 5 budgets that we need to prepare, right? It has more details also, but simple question, we can do it. Eco company manufactures 2 products. They manufacture 2 products. Product S and T. They manufacture product T and S and T, which use same raw material D and E. You produce 2 products S and T. So I recommend you to take down this data, otherwise you will struggle later. You have 2 products S and T, product S and T, product S and T. Both product you required raw material D and E. To manufacture product S and T, you require raw material D and raw material E. Raw material D and E. You require raw material D and E. D and E required. 1 unit of S, පටල ගන්න එපා. 1 unit of S uses 3 liters of D. 3 liters of D and 4 kilos of E. 4 kilograms of E. D from liters, E from kilograms. And 1 unit of T, right, uses 5 liters of D. 5 liters of D and 2 kilograms of E. 2 kg. So this is raw material usage requirement to produce 1 unit of S and T. Right? Simple. A liter of D expected, liter of D expected to cost rupees 300 and a kilograms of E rupees 700. D cost එක කීයද? 300 per liter and 700 per kg, right? D වල කිලෝ ලීටර් එක price එකක් 300, E kilogram එකක් 700. Now based on budgeted sale for 2022 are 8,000 and 6,000 units. Budgeted sales. Budgeted sale for 2022. Right? Product S 8,000 and 6,000 T. 8,000 units and 2,000 units. Sorry, 6,000 units. 6,000 units. Finished goods in inventory. Finished goods in inventory 1st January 2022. FG 1st January 2022 1500 unit and 300. 1500 units of S and 300 units of T. 300 units. And company plans to hold inventory 600 of each product at 31st December 2020. FG 31st December 2020 600 each. ගාන තියෙන information ටික summarize කරගමු. Right? Inventories of raw material are 6,000 liters from D, 2,800 kilograms of E at January 1st. So D and E raw material. 1st January 2022 it was 6,000 and 2,800. 6,000 liters, 2,800 kg opening raw material. Company has planned to hold 5,000 liters and 3,500 kilograms respectively at the end of the financial year. 31st December 2020, 5,000 liters at the end and 3,500 kilograms. 3,500 kilograms at the end. The warehouse and store manager have suggested that the provision should be made for damage and deterioration of items held in its stores as follows. product S 50 units, product S loss, damages, right? Product ඉස්සලා දාගමු අපි raw material, product D 500 liters, 500 liters and 200 kilograms. RM. Damage, finished good, SNT, SNT 50 100 units. Done. ඔන්න අපි වැඩේ සමරයිස් කරගත්තා. Information ටික summary කරගත්තා. That is very important. Why I am doing this activity? Otherwise, if you don't have this summary, you have to go back to this lengthy question and there it has 5 paragraphs and figure out these numbers. What are we going to do now? Prepare a material purchases budget for 2022. 2022කට material purchasing budget හදන්නලු. Okay? Material purchasing budget. Material purchasing budget. Material purchasing budget හදන්නයි යන්නේ. දැන් එකපාර material purchasing හදන්න බෑ. ස්ටෙප් එකක් තියෙනවා කියලා අපි කතා කරන්නේ. මොනවද ස්ටෙප්ස් ටික? මේ sale එක, production එක. production එක දැනගන්න ඕනේ material purchasing කරන්න කලින්. how much we are going to produce. Right? We have two products, product S and T. Product S and T. We have two products. ඉස්සෙල්ලා අපි කොච්චරක් produce කරන්න යනවද කියලා බලමු. Straight forward information දීලා තියෙනවා product S එකේ raw material requirement එක දීලා තියෙනවා. product S එකේ මෙන්න මේ detail ටික දීලා තියෙනවා. finished good මෙච්චරක් තියෙනවා, sale මෙච්චරක් තියෙනවා. මෙන්න sale එක FG ඔක්කොම ටික තියෙනවා. right? එතනින් තමයි අපි production එක බලා ගන්න යන්නේ ඉස්සෙල්ලා. කොච්චරක් produce කරනවද කියලා බලන්න material usage logic එක තේරුම් ගන්න. ඉස්සෙල්ලාම කොච්චරක් produce කරනවද අපි? නෑ. කොච්චරක් sale කරනවද S එකෙන්? sale. ඒ sale එක ගහන්න කොච්චරක් produce කරන්න ඕනද S? අන්න ඒක production. ඉස්සෙල්ලා produce කරන unit ගන්න. ඒක produce කරන කොච්චර raw material ඕනද? D&E. එහෙනම් කාරණා දෙකක් establish කරගන්න ඕනේ. How much we are going to produce, then how much of raw material required to produce that. Start with sales. Right? Sales. Sale budget එක හදන්න දෙන්නේ they have given numbers. ටික් කරන්න ගන්නකොට මෙතන ලියාගත්ත ගන්නකොට ටික් කරන්න considered 8,000 6,000 8,000 6,000. You can't straight away think right to sell this much of unit we need to purchase raw material. No, we don't purchase raw material for sales requirement. We don't purchase. We purchase raw material for production. කොච්චරක් හදන්නද? විකුණන ගානට raw material අරන් වැඩක් නැහැ නේ. හදන ගානට raw material ඕනේ. විකුණන ගාන අපිට දීලා තියෙනවා. මෙච්චරක් විකුණන කොච්චරක් හදන්න ඕනේද? To produce, to sell this much, how much we need to produce. Right? දැන් 8,000 විකුණන්න 8,000 හදන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. To sell 8,000 no need to produce 8,000. Right? Because you have closing stock 600. Right? Inventory ක්ලෝසිං ස්ටොක් මේ මෙච්චරක් ඉතුරු වෙන්නත් ඕනේ. අය මේක ඇඩ් කරන්න. ක්ලෝසිං ස්ටොක් ඇඩ් කරන්න. ක්ලෝසිං ස්ටොක් 600. මොකද මේක ඉතුරු වෙන්න බෑ. ක්ලෝසිං ස්ටොක් එක ඉතුරු වෙන්න ඕනේ. මොකද මෙච්චරක් විකුණපුවාම මෙච්චරක් ඉතුරු වෙන්න ඕනේ. මෙච්චරක් විකුණන්න ලොස් එකකුත් තියෙනවා මේ ඩැමේජ් වෙනවලු goods. ඩැමේජ් එකත් එකතු කරන්න. ඩැමේජ් 50 100 50 and 100 right මේකෙන් අඩු කරන්න ඕනි closing inventory අඩු එකතු කරා opening inventory ඇයි මොකද අපිට 8000ක් විකුණන්න 8000ක් හදන්න ඕනේ ඕපනින් ස්ටොක් එකේ තියෙනවා යම් කොටසක්. මෙච්චරක් at the beginning you have. එහෙනම් මේ ටික නැතුව තමයි ප්‍රොඩියුස් කරන්න ඕනේ. එහෙනම් මේ 8000න් මේක අඩු වෙන්න ඕනේ. 8000 සෙල් කරන්න 1500ක් අතේ තියෙනවා. එහෙනම් deduct 1500. තේරෙනවනේ? 6000ක් විකුණන්න 300ක් අතේ තියෙනවා. right මෙන්න produce කරන්න ඕනි ගාන. this is the units that you need to produce. calculate 8000 plus 600 plus 50 minus 1500 7150 of S. T 6000 plus 600 plus 100 minus 300. Sorry, 6000 plus 600 plus 100 minus 300. 6400. තේරෙනවද වැඩි? 6400. යූනි දැන් මෙහෙම හිතන්න 800ක් 8000ක් විකුණනකොට අපි මේ මැද දෙක අමතක කරනවා 8000ක් විකුණනකොට විකුණන්න ඕනේ වාට අතේ තියෙන 1500ක්. එහෙනම් හදන්න ඕනේ කීයද? ඒක අඩු කරපු ටිකනේ. දැන් මෙහෙම හිතන්න 6000ක් විකුණ ගන්න ඕනේ 300ක් අතේ තියෙනවා. එහෙනම් 6000ක් විකුණන 300ක් අතේ තියෙනවා හදන්න ඕනේ කීයද? 5700යි. තේරුණාද මේ දෙක අමතක කරොත්? ඒ අමතක කරන්න බැරි හේතුව ක්ලෝසිං ස්ටොක් එකේ තියෙන්නලු මේ ගන්න. එහෙනම් ඒ ගන්න එකතු කරන්න ඕනේ. එහෙනම් හදන්න ඕනේ මේ ගන්න. loss වෙන ගානකුත් loss වෙන ගානත් හදන්න ඕනේ. These two you had to produce closing stock ඉතුරු වෙන්නයි damage ගානයි. This has to be produced. That's why you add in closing balance of inventory and damage and minus inventory. අර cost of sale එකේ අනිත් පැත්ත ගන්න කියලා. අනිත් විදිහට කිව්වා. Right? So production. මෙන්න production budget එක. හරි. මෙච්චරක් හදන්න ඕනි 8000ක් විකුණන්න. To sell 8000 this much you have to produce. To sell 6000 this much you have to produce. Right? මේ ගාන හදන්න ඕනේ. මම හිතනවා මේක තේරුණා කියලා. right? මම තව විදිහකට කිව්වොත් මෙහෙමයි මේ 6000ක් විකුණ ගන්න ඕනි 300ක් අතේ තියෙනවා. එහෙනම් හදන්න ඕනේ 5700යි. ඒකෙන් තේරෙනවද මේ ඕපනින් ස්ටොක් අඩු කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා. හැබැයි මේ විදිහට බෑ. කම්පැනි කියනවා 200ක් අතේ තියෙන්නත් ඕනිලු. එහෙනම් තව 200ක් හදන්න ඕනේ අතේ තියෙන්න නන්නේ 5900යි. ඒකයි ක්ලෝසින් ස්ටොක් එකතු කරේ. එහෙම නැතු කෙනා තව 50ක් ඩැමේජ් තියෙනවා. එහෙනම් තව 50ක් හදන්න ඩැමේජ් වෙන 50ක් හදන්න බෑ. 5950යි. This is the logic. Right? Done. Right. Now we have to figure out usage requirement. ඒක තමයි අපිට හදන්න කියන්නේ මේ usage. Material usage. දැන් හදමු material usage. There are two materials. D and E. D and E තමයි අපිට use කරන material. කොච්චරක් ඕනිද? අපි production කරන ගාන තමයි ඕනි මෙන්න. Production කරනවා 7000 150ක් 6400ක්. සර් අපි මෙහෙම දාගමු. right, product S හදන්න අපිට ඕනි 2 raw materials නේ D and E. අන්න එහෙම දාගමු. S හදනවා 7150ක්. we produce 7150. To produce 7150 we required D 3 liters, E 4 kg. දැන් ඉතින් දාගන්න. D වලින් කීයද E වලින් කීයද? 3 into 7150 21450. 21450. 4 kg 28600. E වලට කීයක් ඕනද? 5 liters. E වලින් product E. yeah, product sorry, raw material, sorry, D no, this is D. So this should be to product, not product E. අපි මෙතන දා ගන්න ඕනේ. product D වලින් ඕනේ මෙච්චර, product E වලින් ඕනේ raw material E ඕනි වෙනවා මේකට product S. අපි හදන්නේ 7150 නේ. 7150 into this hours. product raw material D E වලින් 4ක් යනවා 5ක් යනවා. raw material E වලින් 4ක් යනවා 28600. sorry. පැත්ත මාරුණා. sorry. product T අපි හදනවා 6400ක්. අපිට ඕනේ 6400ක් හදන්න raw material D වලින් 5 liters. 6400 into 5 liters. 32000. 32000 and අපිට product T හදන්න E වලින් ඕනේ 2. 12,800. 12,800. Right? So this is our raw material requirement. මේක විතරක් නෙමෙයි අපිට loss වෙනවලුනේ. damage අපි මේක consider කරා. damage වෙනවා 500. එහෙනම් ඒකත් අපි use කරන්න ඕනේ. damage. how much? 5 liters අපිට ඕනේ වෙනවා ගන්න. damage වෙන normal loss එකක්. 5 liters. and even 200 kg. 200 kg. and opening raw material තියෙනවා. closing තියෙන්න ඕනේ 6000. opening තියෙනවා 6000. sorry. opening අඩු කරන්න opening එක. එකතු කරන්න closing balance එක. because closing balance එක ඉතුරු වෙන්න ඕනේ මේ ගාන. 5000 3500. 5000 closing balance inventory. 5000 දැන් ඔය එකතු කරන logic එක දන්නවන්නේ 3500. 3500 closing balance එක ඉතුරු වෙන්න ඕනේ. right? මේකෙන් අඩු කරන්න opening balance inventory. මොකද opening balance අපි use කරන්න පුළුවන්. opening balance 6000 and 2800. $2,800. $52,950. 52,950. So other side 28,600 plus 12,800 plus 200 plus 3,500 minus 2,800. 42,300. 42,300. So this is raw material requirement. Apengane raw material purchasing budget. You have to purchase this. purchase price 300 liters, 300 rupees per liter, 7,000 per kg, 700 per kg, sorry. So, this is 700, 29,610,000, right, 29,610,000, here 52,950 into 300, 15,885,000 altogether, right. If you add these two, material purchasing budget 29,610, 45,000, 495, 45,495,000. So, this is your total purchasing budget. First establish sales, then production, from production raw material usage quantity multiplied by price. Material purchasing budget you will derive. Mr. Loku gana but examiner can test some element of this. Therefore, be ready. So, this is very comprehensive question. Now, read this question. Information is summarized now. Quickly we can prepare the budget. Right? Information has given, summarize. Try this quickly. Right. XYZ company produce 3 product XYZ for coming accounting period budget XYZ. For the coming accounting period, budgets are to be prepared based on the following information. They have given budgeted sales, product X 2,000 at 10,000 each, product Y 4,000 at 13,000 each, 13,000 rupees each, product Z 3,000 at 15,000 each. Product XYZ raw material usage also they have given, product X this much, product Y and product Z, there are 3 raw materials, and raw material price also they have given. Opening finished good inventory they have given, closing raw material they have given. So, opening and closing balances of finished good and the raw material they have given. And finally, they have given expected unit hours per unit labor and expected hourly labor rate they have given. File they ask in record the budgetary information in the space below. අපෙන් අහනවා right හදන්න කියලා. පළවෙනි දේ තමයි we have to prepare production budget, right? Number 1. අපි එකකින් හදමු. Production budget. There are 3 products. What are the product? Product X, Y, Z. Product X, Y, Z. 3 products. You are going to sell how much? 2,000, 4,000, 3,000. 2,000 sales unit. 2,000, 4,000 and 3,000. Right? Thereafter, selling price how much? This sales budget, sorry, sales budget, not production, sales. Selling price 10,000 each and 13,000 and 15,000. So selling price how much then? Sorry, sales budget amount, total amount 2,000 into 10,000, 20 million. Right, in millions I will write, otherwise space I can't manage, right? 20 million, thereafter 4,000 into 13,000, 52 million, 3,000 into 15,000, 45 million. All together sale you are trying to achieve 45, 52 plus 20, 117 million. 117. This is sales budget. That is number one. මේක තමයි budgetary step එක number one establish කරන්න ඕනේ. So once you establish sales, then production budget. Number two. Production budget. You produce X, Y, Z. You produce X, Y, Z. From X you produce how much? First you have to figure out, start with sales. Production budget එක දාලා ගන්නේ sale එක. පිළිවෙල එක තමයි. Right? Sales 2,000, 4,000, 3,000. මේක නෙමෙයි produce කරන්නේ. You will not produce sales requirement. Add opening inventory because you will sell opening inventory and minus, sorry, add closing inventory you have to produce anyway. Closing balance in FG minus opening balance in FG. Because opening balance එක අපි produce කරන්න ඕනේ sale එකෙන් අඩු කරන්න පුළුවන්. Right? FG closing balance තියෙනවා 600, 1,000 and 800. 600, 1,000, 800. Closing balance එක ඉතුරු වෙන්න ඕනේ. එහෙනම් ඒක produce කරන්න ඕනේ. Opening balance එක produce කරන්න ඕනේ because that is there. Therefore you can deduct it. Right? Opening balance 500, 800 and 700. 500, 800 and 700. This is the production budget. $2,100 units you need to produce. 5,000 minus 8,800. 4,200. 3,000 plus 800 minus 700. 3,100. So 2,100 items, 4,200 and 3,100 items you have to produce. Right? From this you have to figure out material use, production budget, then material usage, third one. මේක හදන්න තු මෙතෙන් එන්න බෑ. එහෙනම් මේක තමයි ඊළඟ input එක ඊළඟ budget එකේ. Sale is the input to production budget. Material usage budget, input is what? Production. Material, there are three types of material. RM1, 2, 3. Right? RM1, RM2, RM3. Right? Yeah. So then you have to start with production. Here, production. You have three product, right? Product. Three product. මොනවද? X, Y, Z. X, Y, Z. How much you produce? 2,100 from X, 4,200 from Y, 3,100 from Z. තේරුම් ගන්න එක බජට් එකක input output එක අනිත් එක input එක වෙනවා. Right? Product sale budget එකේ output එක production එකේ input එක, production එකේ input එක material usage එකේ production එකේ output එක material usage එකේ input එක. Right? For 1 unit of X you required 5 raw material, right, which means 2100 into 5, 10,500. Yeah, 10,500. For X, raw material 2 required 2, which means 4,200. 2,100 into 2. And raw material 3 don't required. Y, you produced 4,200, from Y you required 3, 12,600, and product Y, raw material 2 required 2 unit, 8,400, which means 4,200 divided by 2, multiplied by 2. Here also same, 8,400, same unit of raw material required. And product, instead you produce 3,100 units, you require RM 2 units, 6,200, right, 6,200, and 1 unit of raw material 2, which means same figure 1, and 3 units of 3, 9,300. 9,300. So this is your raw material usage. 10,500 plus 12,600 plus 6,200. 29,300. Right? 20,300. Then 4,200 plus 8,400 plus 3,100. 15,700. 8,400 plus 9,300. 17,700. 17,700. So this is material usage budget. Then material purchase budget. Right? Then we have to figure out what? Material purchase budget. So this is material usage. This much of material you required, material. This much of material you required to produce this, but you have opening and closing balance, right? Opening balance, you have to add opening plus closing opening balance. Sorry, plus closing balance. What are the material usage? Mecharak usage වෙන්නේ මේ යන්නේ මේ produce කරන්න යන requirement එක. මෙච්චරක් ඕනේ මේ ටික produce කරන්න. හැබැයි produce කරන්න මෙච්චරක් ඕනේ අපිට opening closing තියෙනවා. Adjust opening closing. You know how to adjust opening closing, right? How to you have to add closing balance in raw material. Closing balance of raw material they have given 18,000, 9,000, 12,000. 18,000, 9,000, 12,000. Minus opening balance. RM, how much? 21,000, 10,000 and 16,000. 21,000, 10,000 and 16,000. $29,300 plus 18,000 minus 21,000. 26,300. 15,700 plus 9,000 minus 10,000. 14,700. 14,700. This is the real requirement. Then 17,700 plus 12,000 minus 16,000. 13,700. 13,700. Now this is the real usage. Mecharak usage කරන්න ඕනේ මේ ගාන produce කරන්න. Opening closing adjust කරලා. Price? Price per unit they have given 500, 300, 400. 500, 300, 400. 500, 300, 400. Now cost. 26,300 into 500, 13.15 million. 14,700 into 300, 4 million, 4.1 million, 4.1 million, and 13,700 into 400, 5.48 million. If you want, you can calculate the total also, right? 13.15 plus 4.41 plus 5.48, total 23.04. So this is material usage. Then finally they have given some labor figures also, right? Labor budget very easy. Labor, product X, product Y, product Z they have given, right? Labor budget, right? Product X, Y, Z. There are 3 products. You produce how much? 20. You produce basically 2,100 units. Here you produce 4,200 units and 3,100 units, right? So this is production. Each product required, you required 4 hours. Hours requirement, 4 hours required. Product X, Y 6 hours and 8 hours of Z, right? Cost total hours. Total hours TH quickly I will into 4, 8,400 hours. Simple, 8,400 hours. මේ කියන්නේ 2100ක් හදන්න පැය 4 ගන්න කිව්ව 8,400. 4,200 into 6. 25,200. එක ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකක් හදන්න පැය 6ක් ඕනි. ප්‍රොඩක්ට් 4,200ක් හදනවා 25,200. ප්‍රොඩක්ට් රිසර්ච් 3,100 into 8. 3,100 හදනවා 8ක් ඕනි අපිට 24,800යි. සිම්පල් අමාරු නෑනේ. එක ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකක් හදන්න යන කොස්ට් එක දීලා තියෙනවා. හදන ප්‍රොඩක්ට් ගානේ මෙලි කරන්න මේ. මේක තමයි ඉන්පුට් එක මෙතෙන් ලේබර් එකට. So labor budget also input is what? Number of units you produce, right? So then rate මේ hours ගන්න total hours rate එක කීයද? හොඳට පටල ගන්න එපා. මේ කතා කරේ hours ගන්න. production එක production එක unit එක කරන පැය ගන්න total hours. Cost 900 900 900 900 each. 900 900 900. Right? 22 million 32 millions, millions. 24,000 into 900. 22 million 68. 8,400 into 900. 7.56 million. So altogether total labor 7.56 plus 22.68 plus 22.32. 52 million 56. I don't have space, that's why I have taken here, right? Fine. So altogether you required 52.56 million labor budget. මේ labor budget හැම දැන් බලාගන්න learning outcome. Sales budget, once you prepare, selling unit will be input to production budget, taking opening closing ගලපුවා හදන production ගන්න හේතුව. From production budget you will prepare material usage budget. For material usage budget, input is coming from production budget. Here to produce this much of unit, how much of unit we required to purchase usage. Then labor also input is what? Production. Overhead එකටත් input is what? Overhead budget එකත් production එක. So here you have this much of unit need to be produced. එකට යන පැය ගාන තියෙනවා, total hours ගාන එනවා. පැය එක ගෙවීමෙන් වැඩි කරපුවම total cost එක එනවා. Simple. Right? So this is how do you prepare basic functional budgets, right? Basic functional budget. So read this question. This is how examiner can test. Simple question. The following information is available for B company. Budget annual sales 10,000 units, opening inventory 25,000, closing inventory 27,000. They are asking calculate the number of units production. අපේ formula එක මොකද්ද? Units sold මේ තියෙන එකතු කරා closing balance minus opening balance. මෙන්න formula එක. They are asking number of units you produce. The question is that number of units you produce. So unsold units sold plus closing inventory minus opening inventory, it will equal to 102,500, 1,200, 102,500. So that's the answer. That answer is there in answer D. The correct answer is that. So quick, not this kind of simple question. Some advanced questions can be tested by using these formulas. Sometimes they are giving the sales figures and asking you to figure out production budget. So once you give a production budget, sometimes they will ask you to calculate this final number, which is total cost of raw material here, 23 million kind of number. And finally, sometimes labor budget they are asking you to calculate. So they will give you some numbers and answer will be end up with somewhere here, right? So it's required more practice. So we'll see, we'll discuss some more practice questions from ACCA paper. There's a question bank for budgeting, but this is not the end of theory part of budgeting chapter. So rest of the budgeting chapter will be discussed during next webinar session. What you need to understand, examiner will not test the entire flow of budgeting, but examiner can give some information about production budget and asking you to calculate labor budget, total labor cost, budgeted labor cost. And examiner is giving some detail about production budget and asking what is the total material cost, budgeted material cost. So then you have to figure out these in a working paper and come to this conclusion. Those kind of questions can be tested. Be ready for that. We'll discuss some more questions. We'll come to MCQ question discussion. That's for the day. Thank you very much.